In this tutorial, we will talk about curves and practice on it. Open file, curve, and save as. I already did this one before, but let's start it over. Put the initial here, save yes. Okay, so curve is a basic element we can create in 3D modeling, so it's very important. So we have different curves we can choose. We can create sketch curve, which is only 2D curves. We can also create curves which can be listed as a feature in the Part Navigator. We can also create some old-fashioned curve, which is basic curves. Okay, let's look at it here. Go to tab curve. First, we're going to create a point. So here we can see create a point. Click it, open the dialog box, and Infer allows you to create some points. The system will guess what you're going to do, but we would like to create a point on the surface, which is located in this yellow center of the yellow face. So you can see U parameter, we would like to choose 0.5, and the V direction 0.5 as well. Then you can see a point, a location in the center of this yellow square. Hit OK and change the name. Point point at surface center. Give an initial. Remember to save your file. There are another type of curve we call it basic curve. Basic curves. It says Lexi. That means this curve is not used very often recently, so it's called Lexi, and but still be able to use it. So if you cannot find this command in anywhere, what we can do here, this is called command finder. This is one of your best friend, and you should use it very often. It can help you to find some command you would like to use. Now with the basic curve dialog box open, you can see we can create lines, we can create arcs, we can create a circle, we can also create a fillet and a trim. We can also edit the curve parameters. So we can also choose point method. There are several different methods we can choose to find some points. For example, in field, the system will guess what you are going to do. And here's the cursor location. This is the existing point. This is the end point of some edges or curves. There are some control point, the intersection point, arc or a sphere center, or a quadrant point. We can also use this is called surface parameters. Make sure you're choosing the line, because we are going to create some lines here, and make sure the point method uses invert. So this we will show where you put your cursor will matters what you select, right? So we're going to create a line from this corner to the center point of this edge, and then create another line link from here, the center of this line or this edge, to the corner at the bottom. So what we can do, use invert. So when your cursor is pointed here, then you can see there's this edge being highlighted, and 3 possible selections are available. So what we can do here, either you can put your cursor here to click it, and then you will be able to select this corner. So let's try this, and then you can see in the edge, right? So 3 edges. So I would like to choose this one, this edge, and then you can see, because my cursor is very close to this corner, so this corner being selected. So you can see here, if I select here, put my cursor here and click it, then this corner will be selected. However, I would like to choose this center point. What am I going to do? I'm going to, with this center point highlighted, I'm going to click it. You can see the center point being selected. Edge. Now that's what we have, and now it's ready to select the other one. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the center mouse, the mouse bottom 3, which probably the wheel of your mouse, and click it to accept what we selected, and then you can see here's what we have. Now we're going to create a curve. So use this point, this center point created previously, and this corner, and so the curve will lie on this yellow surface. So we create arc. We choose creation method. Use a start point, end point, start point, end point, and a point on this arc. So we can also use center, start, and end point, but since we are going to use this 3 point as a reference, so we use the first one. So again, you can see we're going to, it always matters, okay? It always matters. So indicate the start of arc. Here's a Q line. So we're going to begin from this center, and then you can see it asks us to create an end point. We're going to use this corner, this edge. Now you can see the curve will be fixed on this end and this end, and then we're going to choose this point. So the curve will go through. You can look at the bottom, indicate point on arc, or select object. You can see here, indicate point on arc or select point. It's always good to read the hint being given at the bottom here. Let's say put it here. Once you create it, and then click the mouse button 3 to accept what you selected, and then here's the arc we just created. Now we're going to create a fillet using this 2 line. Okay, so click fillet. So we're going to use a simple fillet here. Make sure it's highlighted, and we would like to make the point radius being 1 millimeter, That's fine. Then what we're going to do here, you can see you can zoom in or not. So make sure your cursor is not just covering one of this two line. So we would like to put somewhere so the cursor covers both of the line, and also the center, this cross line, center of the cross line is between this cursor. Then click it, then this fillet is being created. So you can see from this example, the cursor, where you put your cursor, well matters what you're going to do. So if you're going to cancel, Control Z. If you put here, what you see here, cannot find two lines within the selection ball radius, right? So if you put it here, then you can see you'll not be able to create the fillet because you're not selected two lines. Even when you put it here, you'll not be able to do so. So once your selection ball touch both, if you put it here, what will happen? What will happen? Although it covers both, but it's not between these two lines, so you will not be able to create the fillet as well. So the only way to create this one is to put it somewhere so the ball covers both lines and the cross is in the middle of this two lines, so you will be able to create it. Once you're done, then you can click it, close this dialog box, and you can see anything we created, this line, this curve, this fillet, is not listed as a feature in the Part Navigator. Where we can find it? So it becomes non-time stamp geometry, which is this one, and two curves, right? Two arcs, 1, 2, 3, and there are two lines here. Why there are three arcs? It's interesting. We can unpack it. So here's one. What is this one? I can't find it. Here's another one. Interesting. Oh, it's here. So because this curve I created accidentally, right? So this is not what I expected to create. However, it's there. So whenever you create something, you should make sure it is what you want to create. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this from here, so make my model clean and nice. So it's always very important for you to know exactly what you created and what exactly you should create it. So what you created should match what you should create it. Those curves are called basic curves we created from basic curve command, and it is not listed in the Part Navigator or say model history. So what we can do here, we can double click this curves, and then we can manipulate, right, those handles for its orientation. And here's the starting point. This can help us to modify its length, and here this one can help us to manipulate its orientation. If you accept, then it changes if you double click again, you can see the handle changes as well. So you can also change its parameter, the length, using this toolbar, the cone or the sphere, or change its orientation using this two handles. Okay, you can also create this one similarly, right? So you can see we can change its starting point and end point by using the sphere or use the cone. We can also change its orientation by using these two handles here. Actually, you have three handles. You have three handles on this curve for its location, and this is the length parameter. Okay, you can manipulate those by yourself to see how to manipulate each of the curves.